Social Darwinism was developed by Charles Darwin. He was an English scientist as well as a natural philosopher. In the theory of social Darwinism, the idea of evolution and natural selection begins. In order to survive, the species must struggle for existence first. In other words, survival of the fittest, or dog eats dog. Species must change to survive. This was an idea that was adopted by William Graham Sumner and Herbert Spencer into calling society a concrete jungle. Eventually, this led to that rich are only the rich because they deserve it, they are the best, they are brighter and more talented, and it also led to the poor that they are poor because they aren't as smart, they aren't as good, or as talented. They do not deserve the high life. They are bad for society, a drain to humanity. Further along the road, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis came. They believed in social Darwinism, but they twisted it around. They shoved races into categories: Jewish, Gypsies, and Eastern Europeans were the inferiors to their eyes. They were poor. They beat people for just being Jewish or being a Gypsy. Even innocent children that only followed the rules of their parents were also suffering the consequences. They thought they were doing a good thing, getting rid of the vermin on the world, they would put it. Social Darwinism was the beginning of racism, competition, and discrimination. It was twisted even more. It made people believe that it was okay to beat a person for having AIDS or being born with different colored eyes. If you didn't act or look the same, you were punished for it. It isn't your fault. In a way, it started slavery, blacklisted inferiors, it belittled women, it started World War II, killed 40 million people. It is rootless, loveless, and selfless. It is no compassion, it is absolutely animalistic. It believes in social Darwinism. You obviously haven't evolved, as you would say.
First of all, I would like to clarify and build upon my opponent's definition of social Darwinism. Yes, Darwin did develop the idea of survival of the fittest, thus began the idea of natural selection and evolution. For a species and our specific group to survive, they must adapt and fit into the environment. However, this idea got twisted over time and became an excuse for racism, sexism, and anti-Semitism. It gave rise to many terrible deeds, as my opponent stated. Hitler and the Nazis, the rich beating on the poor, and it's true, like all these things happen. But social Darwinism did lead to terrible things, but the concept behind it is like it's indeed conceptually right. However, social Darwinism may not be as ruthless as it seems, as you must adapt to survive. Civilization requires now that we become more civil and more fit within these times. We must be compassionate. We love to get love. Those without love struggle and fail to adapt. The ruthless, loveless, and selfish people end up crashing and burning. Serial killers are put on trial and imprisoned or killed. The selfish, greedy, and immoral people are fined for imposing unjust laws or regulations on their workers. The loveless live lonely lives and are incapable of passing their genetics, thus dying out. Business today followed this model too. The weaker business does not survive. Rather, it is the strong business who is able to adapt and change within time survives. They change their goods, their prices, their ads. They adapt and they survive. Humankind has adapted and survived. We were afraid and we made fire. We wished to create and we made tools. All these innovations, from the primitive spear to like airplanes, like move us today. We're an adaptive race. We survived, we adapted, and we continue to adapt today to change the world, lest we left behind. Social Darwinism is correct.